Today we're going to be live with Jimmy and from the Tongs
And Speed from the Flying Dragons.
and yeah, from the Flying Dragons, Grand Street, right?
Grand Street Flying
Yeah,
Dragons.
Grand Street faction, Sonny's group, right? Alan, Sonny's group.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how you been? Everything good?
Yep.
Everybody getting old. I got a topic that I want to blurt it out because a lot of people been bringing a lot of comments, and a lot of guys be freaking texting me from the old days, asking about China Mac. I mean, I know this guy. When I was in the street when I was a kid, I heard of his dad, Fox. He was the big man for the Flying Dragon, Pell Street. I know him, but he doesn't know me. I'm just a kid. I'm just a youngster back then when I was on the street. When I started in 1984, 85, during those times, during the 80s. So I don't really know how the Flying Dragon structure is, but all I know is that Fox was the leader during that time of the Flying Dragons. He was the top guy before Onion Head. So I never knew. When I came back out from jail after finish doing my Fed bid, that's when I heard of China Mac. He was one of our guys. He was supposed to be one of. He used to follow. Supposedly, he followed Hong Zai.
Yeah, he followed Hong Zai.
Yeah,
Hong Zai was the Bayard Street faction of the Ghost Shadows at that time. And who did Hong Zai follow? Who was his stylo?
Hong Zai's stylo was Richie.
Richie.
Yeah, Richie was considered as a daima, a captain. Yeah, and he was under. Richie was directly under Robin, my boss.
But you were running the streets on Bayard and Mott when China Mac was a young kid. He was like around 2 years old at that time.
I don't know.
When you came out, right?
I have no idea how old he was. But I heard of him when I came back out doing my Fed bid.
Okay, so you came out in 85, 86, around that time, around the same time I came out.
Yeah, around that time, 14, 15 years old, We started hanging out in Brooklyn, and then eventually we elevated ourselves to Chinatown and try to do bigger things.
Yeah, so the Daima, they like to recruit these young kids because when they do the crimes, it's like a slap on the wrist, So
Well,
they try to get the 14-year-old kids.
Let me straighten that out. Basically, because we're under 18, and if we carry a gun instead of the older guys carrying a gun, if we get locked up. Back then, it was just a slap in the wrist. We get our gun charge. It doesn't carry the 5 years mandatory that it does nowadays. So it was a light sentence. The max you're gonna do is what? Freaking a couple months in Rikers Island, C-74, or even Spofford, the juvenile detention. So it was basically small time shit for and it was easy to get away for the younger kids, and not do a whole lot of time. So that's what the younger guys underage were used as. Hong Zai, I haven't seen him for over 21 years. When I first came back home doing my Fed bid in 2001, I think I saw him one time in Chinatown when I passed by, and that's about it.
A lot of people ask about Grasshopper. The last time Jimmy mentioned about this guy named Grasshopper. What's his your nickname again?
Nickname?
On the streets as a Dongwon.
Li Xiaolong, Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Tell us more about him.
When he in Tongs, and I heard from his brother, like his group, telling me his story, and he's committed a murder case, got arrested, and he's inside Rikers Island, and by himself, he can beat up more than 10 white squad. That's what I heard.
Practice martial arts, right?
Yeah, he's a martial art crazy. Okay, he practiced all kind of martial art. Okay,
Fanatic, freaking kung
Yeah.
fu fanatic.
yeah, he's doing pretty long time. It's like I think he's doing like 18 years or 20 years, something like that. And he's very popular in Rikers Island. All the old generation people in Rikers Island, they all knew Grasshopper. So, and after him, and all the Asian people, when locked up and when they get into the Rikers Island, the CEO inside always tell the Asian people Grasshopper. Always
Well, he was a legend in Rikers Island, so it paved the way for Chinese kids that was locked up and was sent to Rikers Island, and it made it easy for us to do time there.
You can say that, yeah.
Well, yeah, they kind of
because they thought like all the Asian people, they all knew kung fu like him.
Yeah, in a way, but they also give us the respect that Chinese kids are not freaking rats.
Yes.
We're straight up street kids, So they give us that type of respect. And
as long as you don't make trouble,
and,
they
and we're not
hardly bother us.
Yeah, what it is that we kind of keep to ourselves.
Yeah.
So we don't.
We don't bother people. We don't care people's problem. Okay, we just doing our time, quiet.
That's
how.
Someone asked, "Is Grasshopper still alive?"
Yeah.
Okay. Someone also asked. Yeah. He's probably older than us.
He's older than me. Yeah.
Probably in the 60s, huh?
No, more than that.
More than that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He's like
70. A question here.
We never had a chance to freaking practice kung fu.
He's like around 67 or 68
the Grand
right now.
Street Flying Dragons, we were always, we never had beef with them. Sometimes I even go down to the Forsyth Park and when we practice handball. Yeah, playing
Actually,
handball.
I don't even know how the Grand Street Dragon stopped.
That was
freaking Ho.
That was like after your time.
He was what? They call him a gung during that time.
The first time I heard of that is Sunny.
Okay,
I heard of Sunny for a while.
Yeah, Sunny and my cousin.
Yeah. Sunny is his cousin, real cousin.
Yeah, Sunny's been around for a while.
All right, so let's start with we have a question here about the White Eagles, right? So let's start from the beginning.
I don't know nothing about
White Eagle.
White Eagles was way before our
time.
So
60. White Eagle is 60.
That was from the 1960s going forward up until about 1970,
middle of 70s.
1975 maybe.
Don't ask me.
No, it could be around 73, but your uncle would know.
Listen, I was still in diapers.
There was the White Eagles and then the Black Eagles. The Black Eagles were the younger.
I think it's the White Eagle first, and then Black Eagle, right?
The White Eagles first, and then later on came the Black Eagles, which is the younger generation of the White Eagles. What happened was in Chinatown during that time in the 60s. They basically controlled almost all of Chinatown, the White Eagles and Black Eagles, until the Ghost Shadows took over in the early 70s. So let me give a 101 of the Chinatown gangs. All right. So in the 1970s, you had the Flying Dragons that formed along with the Ghost Shadows. And then later on, the White Eagles, Black Eagles were kicked out. So in Chinatown during the early 70s, you had the Dong'an, the Ghost Shadows, and the Flying Dragons.
Yeah.
Then later on, the White Tigers branched out from the Ghost Shadows. So that was in the 70s into the 80s. Once we reached to the mid 80s, you had the Fuqing, and the Green Dragons was an offshoot from the Fuqing. Then you had the Gumsing.
Gumlan first.
No, the Gumlan was before that. Then,
Gumsing, that's the people
you
that
had
know
Gumsing.
Gumsing.
Gumsing is 8th Avenue.
8th Avenue, Brooklyn. All right, so you had the Gumsing, the Green Dragons, the Fuqing. Later on came the Canal Boys, which was later called the BTK. And you also
hold on a second. Let me ask this question. So the bar in East Warwick, the Gumsing
Golden Star, yeah.
So those that got gunned down were Gumlan or Gumsing.
And Gumsing, they combined together.
Yeah. All right.
They combined together.
And then after that situation happened, some of them branched off to Brooklyn.
Join us.
I don't know. That I don't know. But I'm just curious about that during that time. I was just a kid. I was what? What happened? When did it happen? 1980 what?
80. That shooting of Golden Star happened in the early 80s.
Yeah.
That happened around 83.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
So,
just
am I
freaking.
missing?
Yeah.
So by the mid 80s, late 80s, you had the Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, White Tigers, Phúc Ting, Green Dragons, Gum Sing, BTK, these 7 gangs. Somebody asked about Nicky Louie. Nicky Louie, he was one of the original first generation
His first generation.
Ghost Shadow.
First generation Ghost Shadow. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the leader. Out of the five, there was what? 5 of them, I believe. I believe there was 5 of them. Nicky Louie, Taiwanese boy, Applehead, Mongo Agao, Tongs,
Okay, so
and Kitai.
yeah,
System.
so there were
Yeah.
5 generals under Nicky Louie at the time. It was the Worm, also known as Stinky Bug,
Mm.
Taiwanese boy. You had Applehead, Mongo. Actually, it's Mango, but people mispronounce it. Call him Mongo because he was called Mango because he likes to eat mango. But
Mongo Zai, and then
the
they call it
news call him
Mongo.
Mongo.
Yes.
Yeah, Mongo Zai.
Mongo Zai, yes.
And Kid Zai was the youngest one during that time, and he was the guy who did all the dirty work, your uncle, right?
Yeah, and Mongo.
And Mongo.
Yeah, I usually when I was a kid, I would call Mongo Agao, Uncle Nine.
Mongo
yeah.
is also known as Agao, meaning if you translate it into English, it means number 9.
Number 9, I guess. I don't know. All I know is that I call him Uncle Nine. That's it. And then we have Applehead, I call him.
Your uncle,
Applehead's, yeah.
Your uncle Kid Zai, also known as Peter Chin. I mean, he has his court records is like this.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
He got arrested for
since the age of freaking 13, 14.
I think before the age of 16, he got into a shootout with on 2 separate occasions with the NYPD cops.
I think they got him on attempted murder and murder charges, but I think he stayed in Rikers Island, and I think he beat that case.
Yeah, so he was in a shootout twice with the cops, and he was charged, indicted for in connection with 13 homicides. I mean, it's all public information.
You're talking about when the feds came down with the RICO.
With the RICO.
Yeah, that's when the RICO came down.
Yeah, he was locked up around 84.
84, because 2 years before the feds came down on the Ghost Shadow, that locked up the 25 Ghost Shadow members. He was the only one out of the original 6, Nicky Louie and the 5 generals, that was still holding down the street. Everybody either cut out or in hiding during that time. So he was holding down the street, and so that's why he got the majority of the indictment that was stuck on him. He has to do a minimum 2/3 of his time before he's eligible for parole or supervised release or whatever they called it back then.
Yeah. I remember.
And the messed up thing is that when he got released, there was still another 10 years called, I don't know what it's called, but it's 10 years of a sentence hanged over him. So that means if he fucked up in between, they could give him, if he catches a new charge or whatever, even a misdemeanor, they could still freaking revoke his freedom and send him back for another 10 years.
I remember back in those days when you got sentenced to, I mean, back then, if you kill another inmate, max you can get is 10 years.
No, actually,
that was back the old law.
Actually, if they can prove it, a lot of times they don't. Before 1994, the prison inside POP, a lot of those stabbings, killings, or whatever, it doesn't go to court. You get what they call you get locked up and put in the hole. for a certain amount of time, and they take your good time away, and you just do more time instead, because you have to earn your good time each year that you do your sentence.
Okay, I got a question over here for Speed. Somebody wants to know, CLD driver wants to know why you became a flying dragon. So he speaks Cantonese. He doesn't speak too much English, so maybe Kenny can translate.
It's okay. I can speak English.
Yeah.
And I become a gangster in fly dragon because my cousin, someone in my family is from that gang. And when I beginning, I joined with them because I dyed my hair, and I got 3 guys like the Ghost Shadow. They put knife on me. They put the razor blade on my face, and then they robbed me. So I become to chasing them all the time because I have my own people, and then I have my cousin as a fly dragon, and he's backed me up for catch those people. So I joined with them. Then sometime in Chinatown, sometime at Amherst to look for those people, but they from Mark Street, like Ghost Shadows. So at the end, one of them got deported back to Hong Kong, and the other one is after when he locked up, he was Cambodian. His name is Monkey. So I chased them all the time until the last one. The third one is from my place. After when I chasing him, I introduced to my friend, and he don't want to like to mention about it. So he keeps saying it's not him. So I did not force him. I did not do anything.
The reason why he joined the Flying Dragons was because there was 3 Ghost Shadows who robbed him at the time before he became a gangster. And he had a relative as a gang member that brought him into the Flying Dragons to get revenge. And the coincidence was one of those Ghost Shadow member was a friend of mine. I knew him ever since he was a little kid because he was Shorty, one of my gang mates' younger brothers. So he wanted to seek revenge on these 3 guys, and his plan was to kidnap him and throw him off the roof in Chinatown, right? So,
Yeah.
but luckily for Monkey, he got arrested and he had to serve a long prison sentence, and the other guy got arrested, got deported. So these 2 guys, you couldn't get.
Mhm.
And then the third guy was the
third
guy who
when
actually
when they robbed me, they tried to take everything from me. So the guy said, "Don't take his driver license."
Yeah. So what happened was those 2 guys wanted to take everything from you,
Yeah.
and the third guy, who's the guy that you let go when you found him, and he was shocked when you found him.
Yeah.
He was like supposedly the nicer guy who gave you back your ID and only took your money and your jewelry. So that's the story.
You know what it all came down to? He probably didn't even have any intention to join a gang in the beginning.
All right, let's answer some of these questions. A lot of people have questions
Well,
here.
what I just want to say is that it all comes down to fucking bullying.
Yeah.
And that's what, forced a lot of people to join gangs.
Yeah, and that's why, that's what happened with me. That's my story also. So Bruce Green asked what about Raymond Shrimp Boy Chow? He's from the West Coast, okay?
No, originally. East Coast
Originally. So, but he's in the West Coast. That's
and then he went.
Hard
Hard Shrimp Boy Chow. He was a card dealer. He was nobody when he was over here in the East Coast. He was a card dealer in one of the Chinatown gambling house protected by the Ghost Shadows. Your uncle would know more about Shrimp Boy
He was
Chow,
a young Toy San boy, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, they know each other.
One of my friends doing time with him too.
Yeah. So, who was the most ruthless in the 80s? Kevin Hong asked this question. They're all dangerous, all these gangs. But
in the 80s,
in the
early 80s, I will say a lot. You can't just put one finger I mean, you grab a bunch of Asian gangsters out in Chinatown, and majority of that are freaking dangerous. They're always ready to freaking pull a gun and shoot.
I would say in the late 80s, I would say it's BTK by far, because they were a little reckless. They didn't follow the traditional gang rules that the more established Chinese gangs had in Chinatown.
They didn't have respect for nobody.
Yeah, they were robbing gang members, and they were like pretty much out of control. I guess they didn't have that structure, the hierarchy like the Chinese gangs. So
they were hungry.
Yeah,
and they want a piece of anything.
They were hungry. They wanted a piece of Chinatown, but they were short-lived because there was a lot of shootings involved, and the Chinese gangs basically
freaking ganged up on
them because that's when the Flying Dragons, Ghost Shadows, Fuk Ching members, and all these gangs basically ganged up on the BTK, and that caused a lot of shootings. And the shooting behind the parking lot of that karaoke where 3 BTK got shot and killed, that was by the Fuk Ching. The newspaper never identified.
You talk about the karaoke in Brooklyn, right?
No, in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah, it was in Manhattan.
Yeah, that was in Manhattan where.
3 young Fuk Ching members.
That was Tommy, David Dye, and Peter Wang. Right?
Peter Wang, yeah.
Yeah, the 3 of them was involved. They got arrested for it, and they're serving. David is serving life sentence, but did David pull the trigger?
Nobody knows.
Me personally, I doubt it. But that was a war going on between the BTK and the Fuk Ching at the time. And that's when Carrot got stabbed.
Let's put it this way,
and that's what started the war.
Just say us 4 run into somebody that we got beef with, we got an argument, and either one of us shoot. It doesn't matter if you guys shoot or I shoot or whoever shoot.
Does BTK still exist? No, definitely not in New York.
I don't think so.
Nope, definitely not. In other states, but not in New York. No more. JQ asked what gang was I part of. I was running with the Fuk Ching. So I don't claim to be a big badass gang member. I was the lowest level, but I had seniority. So my daima was Cambodian Peter. He was my daima, and he followed a guy named Rooster, and he was a dailo. And above Rooster would be AK. Okay, if you check the newspaper, he was arrested for his involvement with the Golden Venture incident. Now, AK had several dailos. He had Prince, he had Rooster, he had Aman, he had many dailos, different factions. Aman got arrested and deported. Rooster is still around. Prince is still around. A lot of them did their time and came out.
Yeah, AK had a big crew.
Yeah.
Fuk Ching had a very big crew. Even though they had under AK was the #1 guy, and everybody that was under him was pretty outstanding too, in their own right.
Yeah, and AK was trying to muscle in on East Broadway, and that's when they had the war between the Dongwon and the Fuk Ching. So Jimmy Big Head will tell you more about that.
That's like 80s, somewhere middle in 80. And, a lot of Fukinese people start coming into American, and they try to take a beat in the China.
The freaking legal immigrant.
Illegal immigrant. So when they first start, because why they want to take East Broadway? Because the Fucking Association is located in East Broadway. So they've been handed out over there, but it's not in middle of East Broadway. It's like far after Pike Street. After Pike Street.
Yeah, right after Pike and Allen on East Broadway.
Yeah, but not at the Chatham Square side. Chatham Square is the heart of the East Broadway. Yeah. So they try to start to move down, but at that time it's still there. Of course, we are not going to let them. So they try to do the extortion to the store, but whenever they open the mouth, and we know they are Fukinis. Okay, so whoever come down to our tour to do those kind of thing, and the store owner or the restaurant owner, they go to call us right away. Okay, so we start to watch. I send my boy to watch the whole street. Whatever you see, a young kid or some stranger talking Fukinis, and we start to kick them out. That's how it starts. So one day, me and my other brother, street brother, and walking down to East Broadway, and then we saw a cave.
You know how I saw the Fukinis during that time? Kind of embarrassing because the culture that they brought over here from China was kind of funny. I see freaking two guys holding hands. I mean, I'm not homophobic or anything like that, but
they always do that.
That's their way.
They always do that. Yeah.
And you're freaking holding hands and you're trying to go to a store and freaking extort money. And with that accent, that they had the Fukinese accent and their Cantonese.
No, when you do the extortion, they go into the store. First thing they're gonna say in Fukinese. If you answer them in Cantonese or some different language, they go walk away. But you answer them in Fukinese, then you're in trouble.
Because the Cantonese gangsters were in US a lot longer, so
maybe that's the first thing. Yeah.
So somebody asked about the movie The Green Dragons. The Green Dragons is mostly based on the Fuqing, right? Why they call it Green Dragon? It's about Sister Ping and
that's Fuqing. It's nothing to do with Green Dragon.
Yeah, nothing to do with Green Dragon.
Yeah, they put a couple things, stories here and there from the news.
But most of the stories Fuqing.
Well, they just make it accurate. Call it what it is. It's like
it's not even
Hollywood
freaking
wants to make it.
And the story's not true anyway.
So
it's based on freaking what little information they scrap up, and they got everything all wrong anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
so
nothing to do with Green Dragon.
Yeah. So did the Chinese gang fight with any other like ethnic groups? Well, back then I heard the Goshals and the Dongwon, they were fighting the Hispanic group and over there by the
it's not even a group, whatever.
It's called the Road Runner,
Smith Project, right?
They had a group with
during my time was pretty.
That was like in the 70s.
Yeah, they're a little bit earlier.
You just imagine about the Green Dragon over before 92. They killed one of my friends. His name is Nelson. And Amherst.
That's Green Dragon. That's not Fuqing.
That's a fly dragon. Yeah.
Listen, a couple of the Green Dragon members are still doing a couple of life sentences in
no, they all got out.
Not all of them got out. No.
The next one got out.
How they got they got 3 life sentences? How the hell they got out?
My friend's real brother.
Speaking about Green Dragon,
I'm not sure. I mean, if they're out, I'm happy for them. But I don't know how.
They do a lot of time.
I don't know how to.
That was back. Out. Green Dragons was like back in '86. Yeah, around '86. Yeah, Green Dragons.
No, Green Dragons after Fuqing.
Yeah, of course.
After Fuqing.
Fuqing was around '85. So Green Dragon branched off from. Yeah, so as far
Green
as
Dragon branched off from Fuqing.
Yeah. So as far as like any fights from any other ethnic group, no, they usually leave those Chinese gangsters alone because a lot of times they always carry guns. So the other ethnic groups during that time, they like to carry their bats, canes, knives. There's like the Chinese, I guess,
switchblades.
Green
like
Dragons hardly come down to Chinatown. They always stay in Queens.
So I mean, there was an incident where the Green Dragons was in the movie there on Kings Highway, and there was a shooting involved. I guess from what I heard, 2 Green Dragons were with their girlfriends, two girls, and there was a bunch of young white kids called the Kings Highway Boys. Right? I mean, over there in that neighborhood, you have the Kings Highway Boys, then you have the Avenue U Boys. So Kings Highway Boys went in with a group of people. They always like to walk around with their cane, and sometimes with a bat. And they were in the back seat. And what happened was they were sitting in the rear of the movie theater, and they were throwing popcorn at the 2 Green Dragon guys. So they got up, pulled out their guns, started blasting away, and one thing led.
Stupid move for those guys to.
Yeah, so
mess with the
I
wrong
think one
Chinese.
got shot in the leg or something and he was injured, but they never caught those guys. So what happened was the Kings Highway boys blamed it on us, on my crew. And what happened was they really messed up one of my friends, beat him up pretty bad. And that led to some shootings, and which led to my friend serving over 20 years in prison. But that's another story for another day. As far as the ethnic groups, they really don't bother the Chinese gang members. They know that, we all carried guns during those days. I mean, we could be walking one or two guys, but someone always have a gun. Like when I travel in a pack, there's always one guy trailing us from far behind, so and that's the guy who was holding the gun. He's the youngest guy, in the crew usually.
Or one of the girls be carrying it in their school bag or purse. The girls sometimes
always, always.
It depends if they want to hold it, but most of the time we make them just put this shit in your purse, just stand right next to me.
Christopher Lai asked, "Do you miss the life of a gangster?"
Definitely not.
No one did.
You know what? We have a peace of mind now. Nothing is worth more than that. Just having a peace of mind.
Simple life, peace
Simple
of mind.
life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm at peace.
I mean, you guys made all that money back then. And Jimmy was driving a Ferrari in Hong Kong, Porsche 928, all the money in the world, but it goes. Yep. It doesn't matter how much money you're making, it goes.
Yeah, that's why I said before. Yeah,
the ghost shadow. Yeah,
you don't keep your money.
You don't keep your money.
You know what? You know what's funny?
It just goes.
Right now, at this moment, I'm grateful that I'm still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't supposed to live that long.
And still outside.
Yeah.
How much extortion money they were pulling in Chinatown back in the 70s? There was only a handful of gambling houses. They were pulling in over 6 figures a week.
Yeah.
In 1 week, 6 figures. But the money goes. Money goes.
Back then, wow, that's a huge money.
Yeah,
6 figures. That's a lot of
the
money.
Don ran a lot of gambling houses, so he can tell you how much money flows through those gambling houses.
A lot.
Yeah, they let they let anybody open a freaking gambling house, and
every day we see like at least like $1 million in the gambling house, cash
being exchanged. And when they place a bet,
you're talking about cash.
And what you see in the Hong Kong movies is true. It's happened over here where they come with stacks of money, put on a table for one bet.
Yeah.
Instead of count, they want to keep it going, the pace going. They'll use a ruler to measure how high the stack is.
Yeah.
All right. Because they don't have time to count all that money.
I saw some gambler one night, they lose the whole building. Okay. They lose the house, they lose the whole building. I saw a lot of those kind of people.
Yeah, one of the gambling houses that was on our turf during my time. Just say the guy that banks with the tiles.
Mm-hmm.
He banks. He pulls out a big stack of freaking hundreds and put it on the bank and say, "Listen, that's drawn." So everybody will try to bet as much as they want as they can on their on their hand, and it counts from the first one all the way to the last. This actually combined together is 8 hands, right? So whatever this stack, if he loses everything, it counts from it pays out or collect. It comes out from here, and they calculate that way throughout the stack.
Yep.
It's called what? 等级庄.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you say it in English? 等级庄.
Cash deal.
Cash bank.
Yeah.
Cash bank. Yeah. Whatever's showing on the table on that hand.
Yeah. And there's a lot of cheating going on with the house. Right? He could tell you. Big Head will tell you about the manic that they put on the table.
Yeah,
with the loaded dice, so you can't win. So why do the Asian people like to gamble so much? Is because there's
and you can't do that in the big freaking the big gambling house. Maybe the smaller ones, yeah.
There's really no other form of entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never been there.
Yeah.
Never been there. That was your turf.
Yep.
Yeah. So as far as why do Asians like to gamble so much? Well, there's really no other form of entertainment for them. You're not gonna, during that time, a lot more immigrants. They come to this country. They work hard.
That's
and-
the old generation. They got nothing to do.
They have nothing to do. What else are they gonna do? You're not gonna see him on a Disney cruise. You're not gonna see him on a Broadway show. You're not gonna. What other entertainment do they have besides
They
going
don't
to see a
even
movie in a
speak
movie
English.
theater in Chinatown, right? The Golden Theater. You had the Sun Sing Theater, and you had the Music Palace and a
Wado.
shitload, Wado, and
Yeah.
also Rosemary there. You have a shitload of movie theaters because there's really no other form of entertainment for them. So
Chinese opera.
When the first immigrant, when the first China immigrant into the United States, no woman, it's all guy.
They work the freaking railroads and the gold
Yeah,
mines.
it's all
you know?
guys,
Yeah.
no woman.
And the fucking docks.
Yep.
And that was when they still had the braided hair. The Qing Dynasty, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's all guys, no woman.
The late.
So
18
how they you know, okay, so they gamble.
Lex Braxman, thank you. And as far as the BTK, somebody asked a question earlier. I can't seem to find it now, but I just want to mention the BTK. They took over a piece of Canal Street. Yeah. So
I go school with them, some of them.
so you went to school with some of them.
Yeah.
We're friends with a few of them, the high-ranking ones, and because basically we all started around the same time. They were known as Canal Boys in the beginning. It's the media, the law enforcement called them the BTK, and then they stuck with that name.
Yeah, we call them Canal Boy.
Originally the Canal Boys, and yes, whoever asked that question, they were offshoot from the Flying Dragons. Yeah, so that's true.
They are the first group to sell the fake stuff in Chinatown.
Knockoff. Yeah.
The first group,
down in,
Canal Street.
Canal Street.
and then-
Yeah, they're the one who started
the
Canal Street.
little booth malls.
Yeah.
And they made a lot of money with that. And the BTK focused on the counterfeit goods on Canal Street. They also a lot of home invasions. Some of my friends got robbed by the BTK. Home invasions. They would go in, tie people, take all their money, stalk the businessmen, and go rob them. Dongwon was specialized in gambling houses. You guys have a shitload of gambling houses, and that's why a lot of the members from the Fucheng left the Fucheng and went over, crossed over to Dongwon because they were making a lot of money with the gambling houses.
And they like to gamble.
Yeah, so the Flying Dragons, you guys dealt with a lot of stuff like heroin and also credit card fraud. Speed got arrested. You got arrested for credit card fraud, right? And
Yes.
you served your time. And how much they found in your house? Like $500,000 worth of
About
how much in cash?
Almost 200 cash.
200 in cash,
Like 450 jewelry.
450,000 in jewelry and stuff. So
some other wine bags.
Damn, why didn't we hang out?
So how much were you making with the credit card? We'll get into details later on in future interviews on how he did it and everything. But how much were you making a week, let's say, on a week? With
Well, a week, we make like about 300 credit cards a week.
So
I basically make it like 100% return.
100% return. Was
Yeah, so like 1 week, the whole weekend, we finished the shopping for 300 credit card.
So
Weekend.
estimate 1 week, how much you make?
Much like at least I make 33,000. I make like the 300 credit card.
So 30,000.
33,000 about, yeah.
About 30,000 a week he was making. And how long were you doing it for?
It's about 7 years.
7 years he was doing it for before he got caught.
Crazy.
So yeah, so
It was a good run.
And how do you spend your money? Where do you spend your money on?
I spend money everywhere.
Like, give me an example. Like
Like club every night.
Like every time I have a chance to pay, I pay for it.
so you
The
don't let
last 7 years.
your fellow soldiers and your fellow gang mates pay because you pick up the tab for everybody, right?
Yeah, like about 22 years ago.
Yeah.
The
So
beginning.
same thing like Jimmy, okay? I mean, big head, he made a lot of money.
No, not that much. You make more than me.
He made more.
Yeah.
That was.
But you gotta give Flying Dragons credit because Flying Dragons, they make a lot of money, especially Tong Tao, right? He made so much money. Oh, Tong Tao is also known as Machine Gun Johnny, and of course, Machine Gun Johnny is a nickname given by the media and the reporters and law enforcement, and but nobody knows him as Machine Gun Johnny. We all know him in the streets as Onion Head. Right? right? So
Chongtao.
yeah, so we, yeah, he's doing good. He's still around. He came out. He did.
I
made
know.
millions.
I know a funny story about Chongtao. When I was a kid, I was like what, 15, 16. I used to have a really good friend.
Let's save that story for later on.
Ah,
About Chongtao and these guys. We're just we gotta make sure it's okay with him. All right. All right. Next time. All right. Any other questions? Okay. How much did DTE? How much did Jimmy make per week? So, just like on the average back in the early 80s, how much did you make a week?
The highest I make is like a week, like 20 grand.
About 20 grand a week.
Yeah.
Protection money, different
Protection
rackets,
money, yeah,
collection.
a lot gambling house money,
gambling house payouts,
the massage parlor
payouts,
yeah,
one-time fees,
yeah, one-time fee, and some heroin,
and a little
bit of heroin.
the powder
Yeah.
that you dealt with. But let's talk about the one-time fee. Explain about the one-time fee.
That depends. Like, if someone want to open a place in East Broadway or Division Street, and depend how big that store is. Let's say like regular restaurant, okay, 酒樓.
Let me explain that to you for you. Right? So what Jimmy is talking about, the one-time lucky money fee, all right, is because every business, it don't matter if it's a gambling house, mahjong, freaking restaurant, or any type of store on his turf, because he's the leader of that turf.
Street.
He's the
yeah, control the street. Yeah.
He goes to do the negotiation for the we call it lucky money, or protection money, as
before they grand open.
yes.
Yeah.
So they come to terms, and he takes the initial fee, lucky money, protection money,
envelope.
because
envelope.
It's different status. It's because he's the Dilo. He only takes that one time. He's not going to go to every freaking store or every freaking business on his turf every week or bi-weekly or monthly to go pick up that money. So he most likely takes the first initial fee, and then he manages and gives it to his underlings, to whoever, to go pick up certain stores.
Monthly.
Monthly for monthly.
Yeah, some weekly, some monthly.
Because he's the dialogue, he only takes that one time.
Yeah.
He needs to negotiate and comes to term with the business owner has to come to term of how much he's going to pay monthly.
Christopher Lai asked about the lion dance. Any of you guys do the lion dance?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. I never do that shit.
The lion dance is a way to also a way to collect money from the business establishments. They that one-time fee, the red envelope. They do a dance.
Yes.
Didn't that used to be exclusive for the kung fu places?
Don't believe what you see in the movies. Okay, the gangs are not there to kill the business owners and make them go out of business by extorting them.
You don't do that.
No, they want them to stay in business. Okay, if you're making $100,000 a month, they'll pay a couple $100 a month to the street level kids, and it's the lowest level who collect the extortion, the protection fee, whatever you would call it. Okay, so don't believe what you see in the movies. They're not out there to put them out of business. The ones that get a hard time, okay, are the ones who disrespect the gangsters when they walk in and ask for that money, okay? And they usually ask in a nice way. They'll give them something in return. For, like Chinese New Year, they'll bring the tangerines, the fruit trees. So
let's put it this way: our tradition.
It's like an unwritten rule.
It's considered as a tradition. It's like I wish you luck with this tangerine.
Envelope.
And then
say nice things.
It's a New Year thing,
and the business owners are willing.
They're still doing that now, but now it's like getting little by little.
It's a little bit different now. I don't know how they do it nowadays, but that's how we did it back then.
Yeah,
we did it respectfully, and we just want everybody to be in that celebration mode. during that time.
Yeah, Chinese New Year.
And
Bruce Green asked, "Do we shake down the BTK?" Nobody shook down BTK. They were a tough group. Let me tell you that right now. They were tough. Okay, I mean, you gotta admit, they were bossy.
they had their turf, and
Yeah.
we didn't want to go down there and freaking
No.
open that can of worms.
Unless they start trouble with us
Yeah.
directly, then we go for the revenge. Just like Kenny's quote. You read in the papers about the shooting in the cemetery. That was a ghost shadow hit on the BTK. So
but down in their fucking mall, they're deep. They got like fucking 100 to 200 freaking kids hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they carry a walkie-talkie.
Shit.
John Vu asked, how many people would live in the gang apartments? So I'll speak on my experience.
Oh my God.
It could be
A lot.
20, up to 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot.
But
we have different apartments anyway. Yeah,
Well,
when you step inside the apartment, you see a girl, guy sleep on the floor.
Great BS. BTK mostly a Vietnamese gang. Mostly, yes, but they all
100%.
no, not 100%. Because
No,
you
not
had
100%.
Cambodians, you had
Cambodian,
you had
yeah, that's
Lao,
true, yeah.
Yeah, even
and you had Cambodians.
You also have Chinese too. Seriously.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Half Chinese, half Vietnamese.
Oh, yeah.
They have full Chinese too.
Yeah.
Remember during that time it was the late 80s, so a lot of these kids came from Vietnam and they saw a lot of atrocities. Cambodians with the Khmer Rouge, so they experienced a lot. They went through a lot. They
came out from the refugee camps.
Yeah, from the refugee camps. So they suffered a lot.
Wanted to be accepted as as Asian, but they didn't get the respect from the other Chinese, and they felt that they need to form together and band together and fight back.
How do the Tongs work? I mean, how are they connected to the gangs? Tongs are like associations, like a one-stop shop for the immigrants in Chinatown.
I guess that question you can ask Jimmy, because he's like,
they try to present themselves as being
in China got a different village. All the village got their own culture. Okay, so when the people from China to here, most of the time they stick together, like Taisan's people, like Hakka's people.
Yeah, but
okay, they always stick together.
100-something years ago, all these freaking Hip Sing and Olia, they all freaking from the same goddamn Taisan.
Yeah, this is the first China immigrant from China to United States. Yes,
but they form under the last name.
They call it what? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Hip Sing was under Ing.
Yeah.
Thing, right. Freaking Alian was under Chen.
Yeah. Different village.
Yeah,
That's what I said before.
village,
They are different village, but like from Taisan guy, like this village people always last name Ing. This village people always last name Li, whatever. Okay,
Like
so they have the association for that. Li association, whatever you have the last name. You are legal immigrant to United States, and your last name is Li, so you go up to the Li association.
This freaking association is freaking big.
Yeah.
The Mois, they're freaking big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're pretty
That's how the association start. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some freaking power down there too.
That's why most association is beginning with the village name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my stupid association, the Wangs, was on top of freaking McDonald's. On top of McDonald's on Bowery, and
so you should know Cliff Wong's brother.
Yeah.
肥佬王.
I never went up there.
華叔.
I never went up there.
The people ask these questions like difference between Tongs, Triads, and the gangsters in New York City. So we're considered like the New York City Chinatown gangs. We are not Triads. Triads follow a different set of rules, and we're more.
Triad got more system. Yeah.
They're more. Somebody asked, are they more hardcore? You know what? They do a lot more. They're worldwide. They have people, but they really have no power in Chinatown because basically we ran Chinatown. So they have to go to the Tongs to come to us to do their whatever rackets in Chinatown. But we follow more the American culture, with the unwritten underworld rule. Like a lot of times, if there's any beef between the Dongwon Flying Dragons, we all grew up in this tight, really small, tight-knit community. We're not gonna, if Big Head has beef with Kenny, all right, Big Head is not going to go after Kenny's family. The Triads will. They follow a different set of rules. You know,
They're deep. They have history.
Yeah,
and they're well organized to the point where even the organized crime task force from Hong Kong, they might stop this triad for the next couple of years, but they're gonna build back up again eventually. They never die out.
They're like an octopus. Like you cut off one tentacle,
they're so deep that it can't be wiped
and
out.
it goes back.
It cannot be wiped out.
So the Triads is different. But as far as doing business in New York City's Chinatown, they have to go through the gangs. Okay, for example, like they run the entertainment business in Hong Kong. Okay, they control showbiz, like TVB and all the other movies, the directors, actors, actresses, singers. They control the entertainment bit. But in order to come and perform here in Atlantic City at like Caesar's Casino, for example, it's run by the Dong'an. So they would have to go to the Dong'an. They would have to go to Clifford Wong, which is Big Head's Dailo. And somebody asked, what rank is Big Head? Big Head is a Dailo under Clifford Wong. So out of respect, of course, he is considered Dailo also. I wouldn't even call him like a Daima. Like he has the rank. He has
my own
how many Daima you have?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5.
So he has about 5 Daima.
Yeah, different group.
Yeah,
different team. Not good. Different, same group, different team.
Same gang, different crew.
Different crew. Yeah, you can say a different crew. Same game, different crew.
So the Triads will get permission from the Tong Association, which Clifford Wong was the president of, and then he would send Jimmy to take care of whatever he needs to take care of, to meet with whoever he has to meet, and the Triads would come. They will send a member here to connect with Jimmy.
Yeah, now, of course they're going to pay first.
So they have to pay the Tongs, and then now the thing is the money that they get, it trickles down to the soldiers. It goes to Jimmy, and then Jimmy takes care of his daima, and that's how it works. SOL. Any cops working for the Chinatown gangs, like Infernal Affairs is a movie.
Oh, we don't want to mention
Hong Kong movie, right? That's I forgot the name of the actor in that movie. It's called Infernal.
Let's put this way.
You
guys think? Okay, I don't want to mention it.
Yeah, we're not gonna mention any names, but I work with a guy, a fellow detective who was a cop in the 1960s. In the 1960s, he worked in the 5th Precinct in Chinatown. And he told me a lot of stories about how those guys who he worked with, there's 2 places where cops wanted to work. It was in Bronx, right? I think it was Fort Apache or in the 4 something in the Bronx, and also China. These 2 were the money-making precincts.
Bronx,
That's where the drug money was.
Harlem.
In Chinatown was where the gambling money was.
Yes.
Cops in those days, they were able to pay off their mortgages,
their
mortgages, and the kids' tuition.
More than their salary.
Exactly.
At that time, more than their salary. At that time, the cop salary is like what, 20-something a year?
I think he mentioned that in the other video. It was
the
gambling
house payer.
Oh, the gambling house payer. So it was in envelopes already, slated for each individual cop that was protecting the place, right? So, but you're not gonna mention any names.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to Yamcha with China Mac a while ago, and like I said, he's a Ghost Shadow. He was a Bayard Street Ghost Shadow. What happened was it split into 2 factions. There was a civil war within the Ghost Shadow. It split into 2 factions around the 80s. No, it was around the 80s, late 80s.
That's what it's like. He belonged to my crew.
Yeah, so China Mac belonged to Kenny's crew. He followed this guy named
Big Boy. Hong Zai. Yeah, Big Boy.
Yeah, that was Kenny's crew.
And Big Boy was under Richie. And Richie is directly under Robin.
Robin G. Yeah.
My boss. My Dailo.
Did the mob give you guys problems considering the close proximity of Little Italy to Chinatown. No, they had a.
No, we don't go down
No.
to Italy. They don't go down to our church.
From my research, my interviews with other gang members who want to remain anonymous, they had a good relation with the Italians. Okay, they had dealings with the Italians, which we'll get into at a later episode. They were really, some of them were really, really good to us. And one of my mentor was Italian, and believe it or not, your uncle,
my uncle's godfather is actually connected. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Those stories we'll save for later on. The Italians, those guys, they were good to us. Very good. But it's the younger kids. The younger kids are the ones, the younger Italian kids. Those are the guys we had problems with. We're talking about like the 16, 17, 18-year-old Italian kids. Those are the kids. But those older guys, those the mob guys,
They're pretty mellow.
yeah,
they're pretty,
they're good.
yeah. They're respectful.
Yeah. So we made money together.
Yeah.
So and we'll get into that later episodes. Watching is Bruce Green. Watching is from the
San Francisco,
East Coast. I think you're referring to Pai. Yeah, Watching. I think that was the last. I guess one of the leaders. His name is Pai. That's who you're referring to.
New York.
Yeah, they had problems with the Joe Boys in the West Coast.
Yeah.
And right, they were basically almost wiped out the Watching for a while.
Watching, wow, long time, and the leaders called Bao Yu.
Yeah.
Bao
Pai got gunned down.
Yeah.
Eventually, but in the early days, he came down to ask the Ghost Shadows for help because the Joe Boys basically took over.
Yeah, they have good. Watching have good relationship with Ghost Shadows.
Yeah. Actually, Pai took a picture in Chinatown Fair. You remember in Chinatown Fair? Remember that photo booth in Chinatown Fair, the arcade?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
photo
also,
booth. Yeah.
With the live chicken.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Pai took a photo with some of the Ghost Shadow members back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he have a good relationship
we have a photo
with Ghost Shadow.
So there's no known photos of Pai out there, right? That I know of. On the internet, but
it's too. I think it's too old, too long ago.
Under you.
Oh, under me, it's like let's say
at the highest.
Highest, like around 100.
So in Dongwon, there was like
no, in Dongwon more than 100.
Yeah.
My goal is 100. Yeah. In Dongwon, including because afterward, like middle 80, Gamlan. Okay, a lot of people from Gamlans come to us. Gamsings people come to us. Tiger come to us. So we have all different group. Okay, and then we combine together. We have like more than like 200 people.
Yeah. And Brandon Tech asked, "What is the best restaurant for the gang?" 69 Bayer. You know that restaurant with all the bills stuck on the wall? That's Carrot Head's brother. Joe owned that restaurant back in the 80s. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That place
all the restaurant is gone.
69.
Only Wohab is still here.
Wohab is still
only Wohab still here. Tongon belonging to which Tong?
Tongon
belongs to Tongon Association.
Tongon Association. The Ghost Shadows is affiliated with the On Leong Association.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flying Dragons is associated with the Hip Sing Association. And the Fujian, the Fujian Association. The Triads in Hong Kong. The main Triads back in those days was 14K and
Sun Yi-on, 14K, Sing Wo, Shui Fang.
Gong Lok, Gong Lok.
Gong Lok, nah.
That's in Canada, right?
Gong Lok is Canada, yeah.
Chris asked, what Chinatown gangs exist today?
No.
None.
Yep.
None. They're not going to call themselves a gang, right? They already learned their lesson with the RICO, okay?
It's only...
They all went deep underground. So all the illegal activities, they're like, they separate into like what you call like cells, you know? They band together.
I can say that it's no more gangster in China.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to identify them. as a
It's
gangster.
only maybe you see a couple
Not-
kid, they they hang out together, and people thought they are gangster, but they're not.
So if they look like a gangster,
They are troublemaker.
they are
Let's
not-
say it this way: they are
yeah.
troublemaker. They are not gangster.
because they're out there, they're making a lot of money
Yeah.
through scams.
Yeah,
right?
they still have a lot of gambling house in Chinatown, but they don't run by the gangster no more.
So a lot of these gambling houses, they're not run by gangsters. They're
Mhm.
run by
Not anymore.
just
We want to see rock and roll next time.
rock and roll.
Yeah, someone say, "Where's rock and roll?"
Talk about rock and roll. He's one of your underlings.
Yeah, he's a Vietnamese guy. Okay,
Like a fixture in Chinatown.
he's a funny guy.
Everyone knows him.
Yeah,
If
he's a
you're
funny
gangster
guy.
in those days, you know rock and roll because
Mhm.
he's disabled. He walks with a limp. and
You
he's-
saw him once, you cannot
You cannot
forget.
forget him.
Yeah.
He walks with a limp, and he's always up and down Division Street, East
Mhm,
Broadway.
mhm.
When they were at war with the Flying Dragons,
Mhm.
they shot him numerous times. And when the Foot Ching tried to take over East Broadway, he got
Yeah,
stabbed
he's
in the
there,
movie
yeah.
theater. He got stabbed about 6 times, and he survived it.
Mhm.
So he was a fixture in Chinatown. Check it out, rock and roll. If you look at the newspaper, the archives,
Yep.
his name, rock and roll.
Yep.
Is
But we
there.
don't call him rock and roll in the street. Only the police give him
Police
this
gave him
nickname.
that
Yeah,
name. We call him Bison,
yeah, Bison. Yeah,
but the police gave him.
Yeah,
the
I
name
call him
rock
a
and roll.
bite, a
Maybe when he walks, he
yeah. Rock and roll is
Rock
like
and
it's
roll
like
down the
dancing.
street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Next time we'll bring him here.
yeah, like I said,
Okay.
the police always during those days they always mistranslate these nicknames that
Mhm.
like Onion Head. We know him as Onion Head. We don't know him as Machine Gun Johnny. That was given to him by law enforcement or reporters. Because it's hard to find a translator back in those days. They'll just pull someone from the street. When the police come there or the reporters, they'll pull someone from the street and they'll mistranslate, the nicknames. Like Flying Dragons, the professor. They call him professor,
Yeah.
but we know him as the scientist.
Scientist, yeah.
For Hokka, when you translate it into English, is scientist, but they mistranslate it and they call him the professor. So there's a lot of nicknames that was mistranslated that we're just gonna clear up in our future episodes. All right, so let's goodbye for now. Thank you all for joining this live chat. Until next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, Kenny had to leave a little early, but he was going to come back and continue this, but we're just
Yeah.
going to end it here and we'll continue next time. Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
for all the positive comments. Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Here it is. You see this?
I won my battle. I finished battle in my shadow. I shot my arrow. It's time to think it over. I had to. I touched that ladder. It didn't really fucking like matter. I watched them gather. Cause 92 is when it all shattered. Born and bred, BK. One thought, get paid. Move work, catch phase. What more can I say? Be first in battle. Trust me, life matters. Raised up, no father, more like a Chinatown guy. Go shadow. I won my battle. I finished battle in my shadow. I shot my arrow. It's time to think it over. I had to. I touched that ladder. It didn't really fucking like matter. I watched them gather. Cause 92 is when it all shattered.